Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. And as I said earlier this week, I have a new project for you using our Still Scenes bundle. Today's project is this super cute ornament. Oh, let me get it into the light right here. And I'm going to show you how to make this from start to finish. The other thing I talked about yesterday is I also have a project sheet for this tutorial. And so if you would like this project sheet, make sure you subscribe to my email list. You can see where to do that down below in the description of the video. And if you do that, then I can send you this. This sheet is going to be sent out on Saturday, but if you're subscribed, then you'll get my future project sheets as well. So it's kind of a neat thing. I will have this video tutorial available for everyone, but it's really nice to have a summary of everything that I'm doing. That way you watch the video and then you can follow along on the project sheet when you actually go to create your own ornament. All right, guys, I'm not going to delay any further. I'm going to pop over and show this on my other camera. Let me do that right now. Okay, so I am using the Still Scenes bundle. I'm not using the stamp set for this bundle, but I'm putting it here because when you buy it as a bundle, you can save 10%. This is the Still Scenes stamp set, and this one is the Snow Globe Scenes dies. I have both these listed on my supply list on my blog, and the link for that is also in down below, so you can click on that and see my clickable supply list. Now, even though I'm not using this stamp set today, I did use this on a card earlier in the week, and they work well together. You can create the base either by stamping it or by creating it with the die cuts. And this little house right here is really, really sweet. So if you want that to work with it, you will need this stamp set. So I'm also going to be using the layering circles dies. I'm going to be using the largest scallop circle, and I'm going to be using a couple of punches for the back of the ornament. So these aren't absolutely critical, but I'll show you how to make that in a moment. Okay, so how did I make this ornament? So to start off with, you're going to use that largest layering circle, and you're going to run through the big shot a piece of gold foil sheet and a piece of thick whisper white. Then this part I am going to show you right on the big shot on our die cutting machine. You need to cut a window out of this gold foil sheet. So you're going to take this one right here that creates the hole, and you are going to get your big shot out here. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, and I'm going to pop this on here. Get rid of my little piece. And what you want to do is you want to kind of center this up in the top. I want to make sure that I kind of have like an equal bit of gold, and the magnet's fighting me a little bit. I'm using my magnetic platform. You want to make sure you have an equal piece of gold kind of all the way around the top and the sides there. So when that looks good, go ahead, put your top plate on and run it through the big shot. Okay, let's see. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then you can save this for later because we're going to need that little, we're going to need a little piece of gold foil sheet. So you can reserve that for our second part. Okay, so we've got this piece. Now I'm going to follow along my project sheet because sometimes I do things out of order, and that's not good. All right, so I'm going to now take my thick Whisper White piece, and I'm going to line these two up. You want to make sure these are lined up well, because later on you're going to bring them back together. So line these up. I actually might do it this way. Okay, I like that better. Okay, so I've got that lined up, and then I'm going to take a pencil. I'm just going to make myself a little pencil line right here down at the bottom, and that is going to be my little mark that's going to tell me where I need to place things. Okay, so let me just follow along in my comments or my project sheet. Then you're going to cut a piece of shaded spruce with the trees right here. So you'll run that through the Big Shot, and then you're going to adhere that right here. I want this big tree to be on the left because I'm going to put my church slightly to the right. So grab some Tombow and add it to the back of your piece. And I'm just going to scoot this down here like this. And I'm still well within my bounds. I didn't do the upper reaches here, but I just want to make sure that everything kind of looks good for that. Then I'm going to add some white puff accents using this puff paint right here. I'm going to do that right now on the trees so I can get some of it behind. After I stick the church on, it's very hard to do that. So I need to add these right now. So I'm just going to do some little lines on these pieces where they'll probably still show up behind here. And I'm going to do a little bit down here. I'm going to leave some room for the church, but I'm going to actually fill that in a little bit later once I've got the church on here. So I've got my heat tool. Sorry for the noise. I've got, let that stand for a second and heat up. And let me grab my locking tweezers. Or someone told me yesterday they use clothespins, so that will also work. I'm going to heat this up, and this is going to turn into kind of like a foam that looks like snow. So much fun. And don't worry if it doesn't look good. Yesterday it looked kind of funky. It didn't look that great. But once you get everything assembled, it looks so much better. Maybe I'll get better at it as time goes on. All right, let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to leave that just for now. We might add some more accents on there in a minute once I get my church done. So for your church, you're going to die cut them out of some Sahara sand, and there's two pieces. You've got the steeple, and then you've got the main part of the church building. So go ahead and cut those out of a piece of Sahara sand. Reserve your piece of Sahara sand. You have these two pieces. And then what you're going to do on the back of this gold foil piece that we cut out earlier, we're going to trace these pieces on here. So I'm going to trace this little piece on here, and I'm just going to trace it omitting the cross at the top because we really don't need it and it's going to be hard to cut out. So just trace this part of the church, and then come over here and you want to trace this lower part of the church. You don't need that little pointy piece up at the top, so just like that. And then you're going to cut them out inside the pencil lines, just a little bit inside the pencil lines, and you'll get pieces that look like that. They look really terrible. I kind of just to show you, I think, I don't even know, like that was that, and this was this. Okay, so I didn't do kind of the little pointy parts, but I just kind of cut them out because I just need these for behind these two pieces. So this just gives me kind of an outline that I can cut out. All right, so now let's glue these together. So I'm going to just put a little bit of Tombow in the center here. And then I think this will work. Scoot it. All right, so now you can see there's some golden highlights behind that part of the church. And then let me just see if this will fit all the way behind here. Yeah. So for this one, I'll put a little bit of Tombow right here and a little bit of Tombow down here at the bottom. Oh, and maybe a little bit where in between the church windows. And I'm going to just line this up on the back. Okay. And there is the second part of the church. Now, if you want to, you can pop this forward on dimensionals, but I'm not going to do that. I am just going to glue it together. I feel like there's going to be enough separation just because they're layered. But if you want to do the dimensionals thing, you can absolutely do that. And I'm just going to try and line this up. Back here, there's two little pieces that stick out, so I'm just going to try and line that up. And that means that this church here at the bottom sticks down just a little bit further than anything else. Okay, so I want to add this right here, and I'm just going to check to make sure if I like the trees and how the snow is done in the background. And I do like the way it was done. So I'm just going to add this church, and then we're going to add like a little bit more snow around the bottom. So just grab some mini dimensionals, and oh, that one's a little far. Just going to add a few to here. And let me just go ahead. All right. And then I'm just going to add this right here on top of here. So this should still, where did my little golden piece go? This should still fit in my little window here. Okay, good, good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add like a little bit more snow to cover down here, this part. And then I'm gonna heat it up. I keep turning this thing on before I've got this clamped. Okay. So you don't have to use the puff paint if you don't want to. If you wanted to, you could leave the trees without any puff paint. You could make white trees if you did a different color background other than white. So there's different options. This puff paint is just a lot of fun. Okay. So I am going to leave that now as it is. I could put a little bit more snow on the bottom, but keep in mind you're also going to have some glitter going on in here, so it's not going to be completely like uneven down here at the bottom. When the ornament hangs down, all the glitter will be down at the bottom. So I think it will look good. So let me move these things out of the way. Let me follow along my project sheet to make sure I am doing everything that I need to do. Okay, so one of the key things you need to do for this ornament, one of the shaker domes, you're actually going to trim down the shaker dome, because I just want to show you, when you do this, you are going to see a little bit of the rim of the shaker dome, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to cut the lip in half. I don't need to worry about the bottom lip, but I need to start here on the side or at the bottom and then go around the side. So I'm just basically going to cut that in half. Yes, I know. You feel like I am destroying the dome, but it is fine. You are allowed to cut things. Just to make the lip a little smaller. Oh, the back of the adhesive liner is coming off. I probably didn't pick the best scissors for this. I'll try different scissors next time. Okay, so I've got that piece off. The back of my liner is being a little wonky for me, but I'm going to take off the top liner first, if I can get that going. Trust me, it's always much harder on camera when you think people are watching. Okay. And this piece right here, it looks like it's bigger than it is. I just ended up with more paper on that side. So you're going to take this, and let me not stick my head in the screen. You're going to take this and you're going to add it. I'm going to add it to the front of the dome here. Bring it around. This needs to be a little bit more to the left. Because there's less adhesive, I can kind of pull it back off. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I've got it all the way around there. And now I need to, I'm just going to do one quick little thing. I just want to check to make sure we've got lined up. Yeah, it will work pretty well. Okay. Because we put our pencil line down here at the bottom, it should line up well. I just wanted to double check that. So before we do anything further, we're going to add a little bit of this glitter that I love so much. This is the ice Stampin' glitter. I'm going to take about 1/3 of a teaspoon. I'm going to dump it on the church, right in the center of my little church. And I do that because I like kind of coming from the top down better than I like going the other way. So now I'm going to remove this liner here off the back of the dome. And you have to be a little careful. I'm going to stand up again. I'm going to move this over here. Let me see if I want to make sure I'm still in the camera. And I'm going to move this over. And you want to make sure you're lining up your dome with the back of that scallop circle. So I think I'm doing pretty well. And then once that is done, you're going to go ahead and seal it down. There's not as much adhesive on this shaker dome because it's a little skinnier. So really press down and make sure that you've got that sealed. And now you've got the shaker working pretty well right there. Okay, so now we need to create the base on the bottom. And so this is done with 2 pieces of die cut. So I'm going to I cut a piece of shaded spruce with this one and a piece of gold glimmer with this one. And now we're going to bring them together to create our little base. I'm just going to get my Tombow flowing. I left the lid off of it last night. That wasn't smart. So it's like now it's sluggish this morning. Okay, so now I'm going to add this onto my base. Okay, and then I'm going to add this right here to the bottom. So just put some Tombow here. Now because this is gold glimmer, it's going to take a little while to dry. So it's going to shift a little bit. Okay, so now the last thing that we need to do is get the ribbon ready. So to do that, I need a scrap piece of thick Whisper White. And I have a bunch of scrap pieces of the regular Whisper White, but not, this is thick Whisper White. It's a little thicker. And what I'm going to do is take my 1/2 inch circle punch and just kind of punch in from the side. And then I'm going to take, this punch is called the Circle Tab Punch. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to center that circle in that rounded part, the punch, and then go ahead and punch that. Now you can cut these two apart. I'm just going to bend this a little bit along the rectangle here, okay? And then you can add this to the back with a little bit of Tombow. You don't want to be able to see your circle from behind, so you need to make sure it's like down below. And I just want to make sure when it's hanging that it's straight. Okay, so that is your little hanger. I hope you can see that. Let me just make sure you can see that. So it's got just that little piece that sticks out. Okay, the rectangle is glued and then this piece sticks out. Then you're going to take a piece of that beautiful shaded spruce with the gold stripe down the middle, because it matches everything we did here. And then you can feed it through that back loop. Bring the two ends together. And then you're going to create a loop and make a knot with both of them together. Bring the knot towards the top. You don't want it halfway through. You want it just as close to the top as you can get, like that. So then you have your little piece like that, and then you can take your scissors and just trim off the ends on an angle. Now I used a 10-inch piece. On this one, I might have probably looked like I used a little bit smaller of a piece before. So if you wanted to go like maybe 9 inches, it would be a little shorter, depending on how long you want this to hang down. So this is probably 10-inch, this is probably a 9-inch. So it gives you a little bit of space to hook onto a tree, or maybe you want to hang it up on the wall. Now, if you want to, if you don't like this shaded spruce piece sticking out the back, you can take another piece, thick Whisper White piece cut with this shape right here, and you can just glue that to the back. So we could do that right now because I cut it anyway. And you can just take this and add it to the back. And that way your back looks kind of more uniform. It's all white instead of that big green piece. It looks a little bit more finished for your piece. And there you go. You've got a cute little ornament. That is a shaker ornament. You know, wouldn't this look nice if you tied this to a gift? And then you could write the to and from down here on the back. But wouldn't that look pretty? I think that would look really pretty on a Christmas gift. So there you go. Another thing that you can make with the Still Scenes bundle. And don't forget, if you would like to get my project sheet, make sure you are signed up for my email list below, because I have another project sheet that I did yesterday. Those will both go out on Saturday's mail, and don't worry if you subscribe late, you will still be able to get them. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Let me come back to you. I hope you have enjoyed my week with the Still Scenes bundle. If you want to get the Still Scenes bundle, just go to my blog and you can click right through to the Stampin' Up! Store from my link. When you purchase from me, I always send you one of my free exclusive tutorials. Now, these are tutorials that are just for my customers. They are not published anywhere else. You either have to purchase the tutorial or you get it free with an order. So when you order from me, I always give you one of my tutorials for free. So that's kind of a fun little perk that you get from ordering from me. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I will see you back next week with some more video tutorials. Take care. Bye-bye.